beautiful and loves beauty. Of course, flowers are going to be beautiful because this whole creation is beautiful, because the divine beauty is overflowing wheresoever you turn. Nature rises up in beauty in every manner of manifestations, and flowers are one of these. That is a general answer to the question. And specifically, why are flowers beautiful? They attract pollinators. Their colors, their fragrances, their textures attract pollinators. And they need pollinators to spread their pollen. And the pollinators need them to feed on. So their beauty is an invitation to animal friends, to insects, to bees and wasps and ants, to butterflies, to bats and other small mammals. The beauty of the flower says, come, drink my nectar. And so Wali rightly reminded us that we can hardly speak of flowers without, in the same breath, speaking of the pollinators, especially at a time when the bees, in particular, are suffering so much. There's been such a decline in the population of bees. And that should be a cause of worry for all of us. But more than worry, it should be an impetus to take action. Because not only do we depend for our nourishment on the work of the bees, the whole web of organic life depends upon them. So it's worth spending some moments reflecting on the role of bees in our lives. And when we do reflect, we remember that there is a surah of the Quran. There is a chapter of the Quran, the title of which is named for bees, Nahl. And in that surah you find the verse, and thy Lord revealed unto the bee, take up dwellings among the mountains and the trees, and among that which they build. Then eat of every kind of fruit, and follow the ways of your Lord made easy. A drink of diverse hues comes from their bellies, wherein is healing for humankind. Truly, in that is a sign for a people who reflect. Now this is a remarkable passage, the 16th surah of the Quran, verse 68. It begins, وَأَوْحَى رَبَّكَ إِلَّا النَّحْلِ وَأَوْحَى رَبَّكَ إِلَّا النَّحْلِ وَأَوْحَى رَبَّكَ إِلَّا النَّحْلِ. Have we not, we have revealed, thy Lord has revealed, your Rabb has revealed awha, which means wahi, and wahi is revelation. Wahi is what is given to a prophet. Wahi is what comes through the Quran itself. It's very remarkable to find here this word, the revelation coming into nature, the revelation coming to the bees and guiding them. So is it instinct they follow, or is it something that comes from the very root of all life, the essence of life. It may be that instinct itself, in all of the animals, in all of the plants, is inspirited into them. It isn't merely a product of mechanical genetics. It's breathed into them as a revelation. They're guided. And they're guided to eat every kind of fruit, to fly from flower to flower, and follow the ways of your Lord made easy. They have a particular dharma, a particular path of their own, and it's going to be made easy for them. They've been given that way of life, and they simply have to give themselves over to it, and that will be their fulfillment. And from them comes this magical nectar, honey, which has so many beneficial properties. It preserves foods, it's a remedy, it's a healing, and it's a sign for those who reflect. So the bee is guided, and in Greek philosophy, the bee is recognized as a symbol of the soul. In Sanskrit, in ancient Sanskrit literature, whereas we, with our modern minds, our post-industrial minds, think of bees, we tend to think of bees as busy bees, as workers. And yes, they do their work, but in the work of Kalidasa and the great Sanskrit poets, bees aren't merely workers hard on the job. Bees are rapturously intoxicated by the beauty of flowers, and they fall into them. And they drink the nectar blissfully and joyously. And there's a bliss in them and an ecstasy and an amorousness. It's interesting how different cultures look at the bee and what it tells about ourselves. What does it say about us that we tend to think of the bee as a kind of factory worker? For the Indian poets, the bee was an ashik or a rasik. Kalidasa says the male cuckoo, crazy with joy, imbibing mango juice, is drunk as with wine, and lovingly kisses its sweetheart. And even the buzzing bee, in the folds of the lotus petals, murmurs sweet nothings and compliments its mates. And if you watch the bees, you might be convinced that there's a lot of truth in what these poets are saying, and you might even find that the buzzings of the bees convey a kind of ecstasy. It's a deep drone that, if you let it, will take you to the anahadnad, the soti sarmadi, that ancient sound that rumbles deep in the universe. They're attuned to that primordial sound, and they communicate it if we listen.